Hey there, island dreamers, locals, and anyone craving a slice of paradise. Welcome back, or welcome for the first time, to the Fun and Key West podcast, where the vibe is always laid back, the stories are salty, and the drinks, well, they're definitely frozen. I'm your host, Michelle O'Connor, your unofficial tour guide to the Conquered Public. Whether you're planning your first trip, your fifth trip, or you're just daydreaming about trading the cubicle for the ocean breeze, you are in the right place. Here's the deal. This podcast is your insider's guide to all things Key West. We're talking where to eat, hello, conch fritters and key lime pie, where to drink, spoiler alert, there will be rum, where to stay, and all the quirky, wonderful things that make Key West the one-of-a-kind paradise we all love. Plus, we'll keep you up to date on the latest happenings, festivals, events, maybe even the occasional Hemingway lookalike sighting. And just to keep things spicy, we'll be bringing on some amazing guests now and then, locals, business owners, and people who know the island like the back of their sandy hand. So grab your flip-flops, pour yourself a cold one, and let's escape to the island state of mind together, whether you're tuning in from your hammock or your commute, while wishing it was a hammock. We've got all the Key West goodness coming your way. Thanks for being here. It's going to be a lot of fun in Key West. Let's dive in. Hey there, Wanderlusters and future Key West fanatics. I'm Michelle, your guide to all things fabulous in the southernmost city. Today, we're answering a question you've probably never asked, but will totally want to answer too. Where do those massive cruise ships park when they sail into Key West? Whether you're dropping anchor for a quick port stop or just curious about how this charming island keeps its visitors entertained for a few short hours, I've got all the insider deets. From where the ships dock to what you must do before you're back on board, we're breaking it all down. Stick around for tips on beating the crowds, finding the best Cuban coffee, and making the most of your time in paradise. Trust me, you're going to leave this episode either booking a cruise or planning your next Key West getaway, or both. Be First Timer Friday, everybody. I am Michelle with Fun in Key West, and I am so glad that you are here. Today, we're talking all about where do those cruise ships come into Key West. So when we start thinking about either you're coming in on a cruise and Key West is one of your port stops, or you're in Key West and you're trying to figure out where are those large ships going to tie up whenever they come into this southernmost point tip of the United States and say, oh, we're here for a little bit. We're going to walk through all of that. There are several and many. That's kind of redundant, isn't it? There are many cruise lines that still come into Key West. Before all of this stuff happened with COVID, there were a lot more ships that came into Key West. And during the shutdown, what occurred and what happened was the waters cleared up. And I think you guys saw it around the world and saw it in a lot of other busy cruise ports. And so one of the consequences of that, and I think it's a good thing, is there's a limitation of how many cruise ships can be in Key West and where they can tie up at. You're going to see Royal, and I think Norwegian still comes in, and Carnival. You're not going to see Disney or anything like that. I haven't seen Disney for a while, but we're going to get into how can you know when those ships are going to be and where they're going to be at. We'll get into that. There are 3 cruise terminals in Key West. You have Pier B, which is a private dock, and it's operated by a private development company. That's in front of, it used to be the Margaritaville Resort, but it's now over there, it's now there. So if you're orientating yourself, it's over there. It's the most frequently used by the larger ships and the major cruise lines because it does have that access, and they're allowed to have the larger ships there. It has a very close proximity to Mallory Square. So when you're standing in Mallory Square and you look that direction and you head down towards Ocean Key and all of that, you're going to see that that's where they're going to dock. And you're going to be right in the heart of Old Town and right by Front Street. If this is where your ship is going to dock, this is a great place to start because you're pretty much in walking distance of everything. The next pier would be Mallory Square dock. So when you walk over into Mallory Square and you see the big ships there, it's where they're going to dock. It's right next to all the action. You're going to have now most of them, if not all of them, leave before sunset, so they won't block the sunset view. That's sort of the agreement that they have. They may be leaving as sunset occurs, but most of them are out away from the dock by the time sunset occurs. Again, though, this is going to be your stop. You're going to be right in the heart of Old Town. You're going to be near Duval Street. You're going to step off of there. You're going to have the opportunity to explore Mel Fisher's museum there and check out all of that. The shipwreck. You're going to be right next to the conch train and the old trolley, all of that. You're a short walk from the Ernest Hemingway House, the Truman Little White House over in the Truman Annex, and all the wonderful things that you can do in Key West. When multiple ships are in port, some of them then dock out farther away at the Navy's Outer Mole Pier. This is, again, when there's multiple in, so this is the last open slot. You're going to have about a 5-minute shuttle to reach Old Town, and these shuttles are provided by the cruise lines. Still accessible. You still get to see all of it. It's just a 5-minute shuttle, so you're still pretty close to everything. As I mentioned, you come off these ships, you're in town for maybe 4, 5, 6 hours, maybe a little longer if you come in real early. What can you do? There's lots of things to do. And even if you are not on a cruise ship and exploring Key West for just a little bit of time, add this to your list of things to do, especially if you are a first-timer. Head down to Duval Street. This is the heart of Old Town. This is where you're going to find a lot of the live music, a lot of shopping. You're going to find lots of options for key lime pie, because, of course, you are going to be in Key West, and you're going to want to try key lime pie. And lots of yummy cocktails, tropical, and everything in the imaginable. You're going to continue going down Duval and get down to the southern end, and you're going to stand in line. Because if you are on a cruise ship, you are going to stand in line and you're going to get yourself a picture with the southernmost buoy. Now, it is going under some refurb right now. This is summer of 25. So there may be something that steps in and replicates that. Just keep yourself aware of that. There are live webcams that you can then check what's going on. If you're in town or out of town, you can check in on those, especially around the southernmost buoy. And you can also check out the line and see what the line looks like. Down on that side of a town and the island, you have like I mentioned before, the Ernest Hemingway House. Go check out those 6-toed cats. They are all descendants from the infamous Snowball, who was the first polydactyl cat there at the home. Take the tour, learn all about Hemingway and Pauline and how they enjoyed the house and the things that they did. Be thankful, because now there is air conditioning inside the home. For many, many, many years, there was not air conditioning. And it can get a little toasty in the Hemingway house come August. If you are traveling with young people or want to see what would be in the waters around Key West and the Florida Keys, check out the Key West Aquarium. It was built back in like the 1940s, and it has this inside-outside vibe. It's such a fun place to go check out. They have touch tanks and shark feedings and sea turtles. It's a fun place to stop in. If you love and want to experience some presidential history, be sure to check out the Truman White House. Why is it called the Truman White House? Well, President Truman spent so much time in Key West, that specific location, that it was just nicknamed the Little White House because of the time he spent there. It is still a presidential location, so you're not going to be able to take a lot of photos inside, but take the tour, go figure out, the stories that you hear about who's been there, the things that have occurred there, the meetings that were there. Go check it out. That is, if you are into history and want to learn a bit more about that, that is definitely a place to go. Another place to check out while in town would be the Butterfly Conservatory. You have rare species of birds and butterflies and tropical gardens, and you have the resident flamingos, red and scarlet, and you can see them. This is not air conditioned, so it is going to be humid. And your hair, if your hair is anything like mine, it might be a good day when you walk in and a really humid, frizzy day when you walk out. But I'm telling you, it is worth it just to walk through and see all the butterflies and just see red and scarlet. They're amazing. If you want to put your toes into some sand. Now, Key West isn't known for its beaches. None of the Florida Keys are known for its beaches. You're not going to go surfing or anything like that. But there are places that you can sit down, watch water, look at the ocean, snorkel, or just lay out and get a tan or just have a picnic. You can check out South Beach. You can check out Fort Zachary Taylor State Park. There is an entrance fee, but it covers you in and out all day. You can check out the Civil War Fort there. You can sit on the beach. You can go snorkeling. Lots of fun things to do. There are lots of ways to get around Key West. First option always is walking. Key West is very walkable. So when you're in town, know that you can pretty much walk to all of the highlights that you want to check out within Key West. You can rent bikes and you can rent scooters. Make sure that it's convenient for how you're getting from where you are docked if you were coming in on a cruise ship, and that it's an easy way to drop off or all of that. Just coordinate that. Another fun thing to do is you can hop on, and it's located there usually around Mallory Square, is the Old Town Trolley Tour. And that takes you to, I think, 13 stops. So not only Old Town, but you get to go out to Newtown and just get a really cool vibe and feeling of the island. So it's something you can hop on and hop off, and also listen to the guided tour. Another fun thing I love to do if you just want to take a tour of Old Town is hop on the conch train. To me, and you may or may not know this, but I'm a huge Disney fan. So to me, the conch train is the Jungle Cruise of Key West. Campy, humor, and so much fun. But it takes you around Old Town, hop on, hop off, and be able to just get the lay of the land and have fun. You can rent a golf cart. Keep in mind, you're going to follow all those rules for parking and like you are a car. So parking is at a premium in Key West. But if you're just wanting to go around and explore and not park, that's fun. If you can also head out and do a glass bottom boat tour, you might be able to, depending on how much time you're in town, maybe be able to do a snorkel tour, work with those tour companies and work with your cruise line and your travel advisor to make sure you're booking something that's going to make sure you don't miss your departure on that cruise. If you're in town, some of the cruise ships dock in very early, then obviously you're going to want to start your day with some Cuban coffee. Be sure to head over to FunInKeyWest.com for a lot of our guides on how to order Cuban coffee and places for the best Cuban coffee, or check out our YouTube channel. We have lots of information over there. But you could start your day off with a Cuban coffee queen, and you head over to the seaport and they have that that iconic mural. Get your coffee, get your selfie, and to let everybody know where you are on that day. Of course, I'm going to tell everybody to head over to Sloppy Joe's. It's historic. I know. A lot of you say, this could be a tourist trap, Michelle. Could be. I don't know. I still like Sloppy Joe's. They do a heavy pour. They have good food, great music. The bartenders are amazing. I just like going in there. I like looking at all the flags from the ceiling, and I like the tile on the floor. I just like Sloppy Joe's. If you're looking for authentic Cuban cuisine, you can check out El Siboney or even take a food tour. I find that a lot of people that come into Key West, especially if it's a port call for a cruise ship, they don't do the food tours because you guys are getting such amazing food on the cruise ship. But if there's something specific that you are getting on the cruise ship and you want to try and indulge in on a local cuisine, be sure to check out one of those food tours. Of course, you can go shopping, get those souvenirs, grab some art. There's amazing art galleries in Key West, and they will ship them home to you, so you don't have to worry about bringing them back on the ship. And all kinds of cute craft kiosks are around Mallory Square, so be sure to check those out. So there's, like I mentioned before, there are now some policies that have been put into place about cruise ships in Key West. And so the cruise ship passenger limits within the city of Key West, and they are enforcing this, is a maximum of 1,300 people per day, which is for the larger ships. If you go to the city of Key West's website, they do have a cruise ship calendar. So you'll be able to check which cruise ships are in town on what day. And there's usually a good idea of time and also where they will be docked. Not all cruise lines stop in Key West consistently. Think Royal, think Disney, but they may periodically stop. So be sure to check those out. Of course, as with anything that happens in the tropics, weather conditions will determine sometimes docking schedules. Maybe they'll leave early or come in later depending on weather. So be aware that it's not all set in stone just because it's on the calendar. And if you are on a cruise ship and coming into Key West, and Key West is one of your ports, it's a good idea to book those shore excursions in advance, especially if you're heading over to places that, the things that, and everybody's talking about that fill up very fast. And I am 100% sure your travel advisor that helped you book your cruise will help you with that. Or you feel free to reach out to me and I'll give you some ideas. If you are wanting some insider tips on how to avoid some of the crowds, I've given you the highlight of where most of the crowd is going to go. But if you're looking for a little more quiet places, check out the Audubon House. It's right there off of Front Street, and it's this quiet place. John Audubon did not live there and did not own the home. He stayed there, and they have taken that as George Washington slept here. Well, John Audubon slept there. But you can see his art, and they have an amazing garden, and you can explore the house and the compound. It's a gorgeous place, and it's not very crowded most of the time. You could head over to the Fort East Martello Museum. You will need to get either an Uber or a cab or something to get over there. That is not an easy walk to do. And if you are into literature, of course, you have the Ernest Hemingway House, but you also have the Tennessee Williams exhibit. And there's a lot of memorabilia in there about his books and his plays and movies and the connection to Key West. And you'll learn a lot about Tennessee Williams there. You can walk through the historic seaports. You can do the harbor walk. You can go from A&B Marina all the way over to the historic seaports. You can wander through Lazy Way and stop in at the Schooner Wharf and listen to some live music. So there's a lot of ways just to wander and check that out. If you are with families, traveling with families on that cruise ship and you're in town, you can hit the Key West Shipwreck Museum. That's a fun thing to do. You can climb up to the very tippy top of the lookout and have an amazing view. And there's also playgrounds over at Higgs Beach. So whether you're coming into Key West on a cruise ship or you're just in Key West for a day, or you're thinking about Key West and you're staying farther up the Keys and are coming down to Key West, a lot of this information pertains to your situation. But if you're coming in on a cruise ship, so it doesn't matter whether you're docking at Mallory Square, Pier B, or the Navy's Outer Mole, Key West welcomes cruise passengers, and there's always a cold drink that you can find. I want to know, have you been to Key West on a cruise? Was it one of your ports of call? And what was your favorite thing to do? And here's what I find. I find that when people come into Key West for a day, either through a cruise ship or just on a visit as they're coming down from some other place in the Keys, they all of a sudden get bit by that Key West bug. And they think, I got to come back. I got to spend some more time here. There is so much to see, so much to do that I absolutely need to come back. And I bet you guys, you are one of those people. Let me know. I want to know how you've experienced Key West. Have you only done it for a day? And how long did it take you to come back and experience it for much longer? There are lots of free guides over at FunInKeyWest.com. Plus, there's a lot of free guides over on our YouTube channel and, of course, our podcast. So be sure to check that out wherever you get your podcasts at, and check out our YouTube channel. And also, if you are wandering over and our website over at FunInKeyWest.com, sign up for our book club. We have a book each month that has some sort of connection to Key West, and we just announced the July 25 book. So be sure to check that out. I am Michelle. You guys have a great Friday. Thank you for stopping in. Thank you for joining me. So glad you're here. You guys have a great day and a great weekend. We'll talk to you later. Well, that's a wrap on First Timer Friday. Thanks for coming aboard today. Whether you're docking in Key West for a few short hours or planning a full-blown island escape, I hope you're feeling inspired to hit the ground running or strolling with the insider tips we dished out. What are some of these takeaways that you can use for either a cruise or a non-cruise wanderer? After all, we're inclusive like that. First off, Duval Street has many delights: live music, key lime pie, all the tropical cocktails your heart desires. Bonus points if you grab a selfie at the southernmost buoy while you're at it. Take a walk on the wild side. Check out the Butterfly Conservatory, High Rat and Scarlet, or the Hemingway House where six-toed cats reign supreme. Cute and historic. What more could you want? Or check out the hidden gems. Take a quiet stroll through the Audubon House, or hop aboard the Conch train for a mix of laughs, history, and the best island views. So here's your action plan. Like, share, and comment if this episode helped you plan your perfect Key West adventure. Join the conversation. Have you day tripped to Key West? What's your must-see spot or unforgettable moment? Let me know. I might even give you a shout-out on a future episode. And book it. Literally. Head over to FunInKeyWest.com and sign up for the book club. We are reading all things that are Key West inspired. No matter how long you spend in Key West, one thing's for sure: you will be back. Trust me, it's not if you'll return, it's when. Until next time, keep exploring, keep daydreaming, and always, always keep it Key Westy.